seem to be alive. Break the chains and our freedom's ours to take.
Welcome to another Put the Power Down video. In today's video, we are in the 2014 Ford SVT Raptor. Starting off with the 2014 Raptor, this one is in the color white, and the outward appearance of this vehicle is very mean, very aggressive. I mean, it really just takes up the road. You can't see this car or this truck in traffic and not notice it. Like, its presence is definitely there. It's a very wide vehicle compared to the regular F-150. This thing is even more noticeable. And the thing I like most about this car is everything is stock, and I'll talk more about that later. But back on the overall appearance of this vehicle, of course, the hood inserts in the front make a big difference in my opinion compared to the regular F-150. You also have the 3 amber lights up front because the truck is required to have that, just because its overall width of this vehicle is really wide. And you can also just notice from looking at the outside of this vehicle at the shocks that this vehicle has. It comes with Fox Racing shocks from the factory, which I think that is very cool. I mean, like I said, you can tell this vehicle is ready to go off-roading at a moment's notice. You can still drive it in town and all that good stuff, but as soon as you want to go out, say you find a big mud puddle or go out to sand dunes or wherever you're living with this truck, you can just go out and do that type of stuff, and I think that's really cool. And as you're just walking around the truck, you also see the big mirrors, and those mirrors are actually power folding. All you have to do is sit here, touch a little button inside of the car, and those mirrors will fold in and they'll fold right back out. And being that this is a pickup truck, of course you would have a tailgate in the back, and it's very simple to get in, and especially for a guy like me who's around 5'8", 5'9", getting to a truck that I wouldn't say is completely lifted, but it is higher than your average F-150 or a Silverado or a Ram 1500 or anything like that. It kind of would be concerning, I guess, if you were looking at buying this vehicle or just trying to get into the back of one. You might think that you might have trouble getting in, or you might have to jump, but the way Ford has it set up, all you literally have to do is walk up, open the tailgate, and they have their integrated step inside. Pull out the handle, pull down the step, and then you can just hop right in. And this truck also has a tailgate cover that is very easy to remove. All you have to do is unclip a clip that's on the left and a clip that's on the right, and then just flip it back, and then the tailgate's exposed, and you can do whatever you want back there. You can put whatever, whether it be wood, logs, or just have a mattress where you helping someone move. It's very convenient, and I think that's very nice that they have that step back there, because it makes it a lot easier to get into the back of this truck, I think. And of course you have these big, very big, nice, meaty tires that are ready to go off-roading. Like I said, I mean, and you're gonna hear me say that a lot in this video, because I mean, this truck, like I'm saying, is really ready to go off-roading. I think Ford actually entered this in the Baja 100 or Baja 1000. I'm not sure exactly what the event is called, but it's in the desert. And when they were R&D'ing this truck, I believe that this truck actually did place in that race. So I think that's pretty cool that this truck is that capable, especially if you look into the event and see how rigorous and like the terrain that those trucks have to go on. This truck can do that, and it's, like I said, I think it's really cool that this car can go off-road. Back to those tires, like I said, they're big, meaty tires. Have a lot of tread life in them, and they're just ready to go off-road. Another thing with the rear of the truck, you can also tell that this truck is already equipped with your trailer hookups to go ahead and tow, whether you have a boat or just a trailer to haul around, like a trailer for grass cutting business or whatever. This truck is also capable of doing that, and I'll get more into why I feel like this truck is really the truck to do basically anything, especially if you're into off-roading and stuff. You can use it in the city, whether you're on a construction site, and then you can also go off-roading for it, and it's, like I said, ready to go from the factory, which I think is really great. Now for the Ford Raptor's interior, it is really, really nice, and it is huge. I mean, you have all the space in the world to move around. I have this big, even though the steering wheel is pretty big, I still have plenty of leg room, and you have adjustable pedals. When I mean adjustable pedals, the foot pedals, so your gas and your brake, they can move away from you or closer to you. And like I said, I'm 5'9", so I can move the seat up and down. Power adjustable seats, and literally, even though I'm on the shorter side of the spectrum, I feel like this truck allows me, even though in my size, really to just feel at home in this truck and be able to do whatever and still feel like, you know, I can drive this thing. And I'll get to more about how this car drives later on in the video. And the back seat of this vehicle is also ginormous. I mean, I even pushed the passenger seat all the way back just to see how much room there'd be back there. And there's plenty of room. I mean, you have all the leg room in the world to stretch out. This will be a lovely, really nice road trip truck. I mean, I could see myself sitting in the front passenger seat and even the back. A lot of people don't want to sit in the back seat on certain road trips, especially in certain types of cars. This one, I mean, there's honestly really probably not really a difference. I feel like if you measured it out, you probably have a couple more inches, maybe 5 inches in the passenger seat up front, but compared to the seats in the back, there's still plenty of room back there for anyone to be back there, any size. I'd say you probably have to be able to size a 6'7" to be uncomfortable back there. And I mentioned it earlier, but you do have this very nice big meaty steering wheel that's nice to grab onto. You have these nice 10 and 2 bolsters to grab onto for when you're going off-road or doing something like that. Very nice race feel. You also have a mark on the steering wheel to let you know exactly where the wheel is facing straight, and that is of course if you're going off-road and stuff like that. Behind the steering wheel you have your gauges, of course, everything you expect, so like your fuel, your coolant, all that good stuff, oil life. You also have the SVT stickering right there, which I think is pretty cool because it reminds you that this is not just a regular F-150, by the way, because of course you have that on the outside. Another thing I'll get to is these seats that have the words Raptor in them, because I think that's also a very nice reminder that this is not a regular F-150. But back to what's behind the steering wheel. Of course, your miles per hour, and then you have a control actually on the steering wheel here that lets you see stuff like your gauge mode, your fuel economy. You have truck apps here, and you basically, this tells you, now truck apps is very important for when you're going off-road. It tells you the angle of the truck, the angle of your wheel and all this stuff. And basically, because a lot of times when people go off-road and you'll see Jeeps and stuff, and people were just kind of outside trying to tell them you need to go a little to the right and a little to the left. But this truck will actually communicate that to you by the computers that are on board, reading what each tire is doing, and basically feeling how the ground is and knowing where the truck is in correlation to that. And also in the vehicle, you of course have your sync touch screen here with everything from navigation to your phone controls, so you can connect your phone. You can also have the radio, and of course your climate controls, and everything that also is under the screen feels very nice. You have your shifter, of course. You slide down. It's 6-speed automatic, and you also have, you can select gears with the transmission here by a little rocker that is on the side of the shifter, and I'll get to this later once we start actually driving in the car. But back to the infotainment area around here, I think everything right here is really nicely placed, very easy to reach, very responsive. The radio sounds pretty great. You do have a Sony's audio system in this car, and it is phenomenal. I mean, it is really, really high quality, especially for the size of this vehicle. And also sitting here, you have your auxiliary switches, which basically if you have anything, so you want to hook up some lights on top of the truck or anything like that, or wherever it be on the outside of the vehicle, like an LED bar or something like that, you'll have your switches here that are already basically pre-wired, and you can just go ahead and switch those up. That way you don't have to have any really weird auxiliary switches from aftermarket stuff. They're just already right here, ready for you to go, and I think that's great that SVT and Ford thought of that and decided to put that there, because they know that this truck is really for people who want to go off-roading and enjoy using their truck in that fashion. And then you also have hill descent control, which basically if you are going down a hill, say you're in the mountains, wherever you may be, and say you're driving down the hill and you need help stopping the car, that way you don't wear out your brakes and stuff like that, this vehicle will actually enable the engine. It uses the engine, basically engine braking in a way, and it will slow down you and the trailer that you're towing behind you. That way you just don't run off the hill and end up eating your brakes as you're trying to go down a long descent. Now what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and take this Ford Raptor out on a drive, and I'll tell you guys how it feels on the road. Now I'm not going to have the opportunity to take it off road, unfortunately, as much as I do want to, but I will give you guys some really good feedback as what you can expect, especially if you're driving this vehicle on a day-to-day basis. So let's go ahead and start it up and get going. And you have this crazy, that was great, like just the way that started up. And then of course you have the Ford emblem, just built Ford tough, it smashes into this the screen that you have right here, reminding you that this is a great truck, and I like that a lot. So now I'm going to go ahead and tell you guys what the acceleration in this big truck is like. With a big engine like this, it should be quite nice. Okay, that was pretty nice. Now, this truck does have a 6.2 liter V8, and with this V8, you get a engine that is very nice, very big and peppy. But the downside to this V8, I guess, would be the gas mileage. I am currently right now getting 9.8 miles to the gallon, And for anyone who does not have a lot of money to throw at gas, that might be pretty bad for you if you're getting such a low number. But honestly, I think it's something that you should expect with a truck like this, a truck that can do all the things that I was talking about earlier as far as the off-roading capability goes. And the way this thing sounds, and I'll tell you guys right now, while I'm driving on the road, even though I'm in a this is actually a one-lane road going this way, and I don't feel like I'm hogging up the road. I actually feel like there's space all around me. You know, I don't feel like this truck is too big for me to drive. Now it is on the wider side, but I'm fitting in between these lanes perfectly fine. I'm not going onto the oncoming lane of traffic. You know, I don't feel like I'm trying to like do this the entire time, trying to make sure I'm in my lane. I can sit here and, you know, take my hands off the steering wheel like I just did for the right there for a split second and still be fine in the car. This truck really just cruises really nice. You don't feel like you're in such a big vehicle like you really are, and I think that's really nice. And at the same time, after all that I just said, you still feel like you are the king of the road, because this truck isn't ridiculously lifted, but it still has the presence to it, and you know that the car that you're having has presence to it, and it is great in this vehicle right now. I just feel like I could go take a large jump and just do whatever in this truck. It's amazing, man. The feeling that this truck gives you with the sound, just the amount of room you have in here, that V8 purring, love that sound right there, man. That's beautiful. And like I mentioned earlier, this car does have shifters, actually a rocker on the side here that you can shift the vehicle with. And I'm using that right now. And it's not the most responsive thing ever, but it's not like you're going to be racing this car. It's not like it's supposed to be a Mustang, or it's like I was about to say, it's not going to be racing anything or anything like that. So it doesn't really need to be that responsive. I mean, it's not terrible at the same time, so don't think it's like horribly slow, but it's just not like you click it and then it shifts. Like I'll shift right here to let you guys know. And then there goes fourth, there goes third. So, you know, I don't think it's too bad. Now, this is a 6-speed manual, and like I said, I think it's nice how you do have the ability to shift it right there, but it's not too fast, not too slow. I mean, it could be better, but all in all, I think it's still pretty good transmission. And while I'm on it, I'm actually cruising right now on the highway at around 55 miles an hour, and this truck is very quiet inside, not too much road noise, which I think is a plus, especially with the giant tires that you have on this. You think there'd be noise from tires and stuff. No, this thing still cruises perfectly, and like I said, I think this would definitely be a nice truck for the for road trips. And I'm actually going to take this turn getting off the highway now, this off ramp, and the truck, I don't feel like I'm about to tip over, even though with the size of this truck, and I feel like I'm still taking this truck actually about the speed as you probably want to go in a car. I just took that at about 35 miles an hour and still felt perfectly fine in there. So wrapping up my time here with the 2014 Ford Raptor, I can tell you that it is a very nice truck. I think, you know, what everyone has said about this truck is very true. It probably handles great off-road, and I can just feel in the suspension now that it's very soft. You know, every bump that I've hit on the road, you really can't even feel it. I mean, you see that it's coming up on the road, and then you hit it, and then you don't really feel it. This thing just rides so great because it's just prepared to go off-road. It's ready to handle bigger bumps and stuff like that, and I think that's really cool. And I just think this truck is overall a really good package from Ford that they made up here with SVT, with the shocks, everything that's on this truck, just the way it's set up, just the way this truck, especially this one that I'm in right now, is spec'd out. But Ford Raptors in general are just really nice, great cars. That great exhaust note that I'm still hearing in the background, I probably won't get sick of that. Just hitting the gas pedal, even though I'm getting 11.5 miles to the gallon right now, you know, it's worth it in my opinion. Like I'm saying, this is a great truck. If you like the video, like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. I'll catch you guys in another video, and be safe and be holy.